Hey everybody, I'm Scott, and this is the video version of my blog. I was just holding up my "Peace starts within ourselves and grows" quote, because I thought it was pretty fitting for today's Mantra Monday / Wednesday / Tuesday / I was writing this big, long article that just kept getting longer and longer, and it might even get a little bit longer, about hacking the body, and comparing the body to a computer, and seeing that we are a lot like computers that we are making right now, but we have some stuff that the computers don't have. And though they have surpassed us in certain areas of being able to compute things very quickly, and they've been able to have less error and percentage of error, they do not have free will. They do not have the ability to completely create without patterns that have been set for them. And now it's arguably the same for us too. Some people would say that there are patterns for humans. And in a sense, I might agree with that too. But I do believe that we have choice of how we go about these certain patterns. In the way that they affect other people, we do have a bit of choice. And I'm not really trying to get too into this whole concept of fate or just the things are supposed to happen in an exact way. Because that's not where I'm going. That's not where we need to hit this. Where we need to hit this is that we as people are a lot like computers, and we have certain things that can affect us like computers in the sense of hacking and being able to put input into our body. We know that certain colors make us feel certain ways. We know that certain sounds can evoke happiness or sadness or elation, or all kinds of different feelings. We know that these things exist. We know that these images and these sounds, these vibrations, all of them in a sense, even colors and solids are vibrations. We know that we have ways that we can input into ourselves, and other people know these things too. And sometimes we unintentionally do it, but sometimes we intentionally do these things, such as in advertising and the way that people have researched the way our attention works and have been able to figure out certain things and certain little tricks to be able to grab our attention. We might get wiser to some of those things, and our brain might develop ways to block some of those inputs or those negative inputs. But they do exist. But the whole double-edged sword, we can use these inputs ourselves, and we can program our own code. We can hack ourselves to do amazing things. We can hack ourselves to feel incredible and to feel great and to understand that time, the way that we look at it, is really silly. It's silly because we are so busy looking at things that don't exist that we're not enjoying the actual time that we do have. So, today, for Mantra Monday / Wednesday / hack podcast, I want to give this mantra to help us start to separate our consciousness, our ability to act and to create, from that internal critic that we have sometimes grown to believe is real and true. We have started to give into these thoughts of the future, and we believe them to be true. We actually feel them to be true. And that is not true. They are not true. The things that happened in our past, they have happened, and we are where we are now. So, we can break away from those thoughts, but we need to practice things like meditation and being present and mindful of those kinds of thoughts, and realize that we have a voice that actually acts, and we have a voice that just chatters. We all have this, and we can all separate it, but we need to meditate to do it. And when we do, we learn all kinds of amazing things about ourselves. So, today's mantra is Shiva's mantra. And Shiva is the concept of consciousness and being one's real self and being one's true self in Hindu mythology. And in a lot of mythology and a lot of religions, we do have this whole concept of these concepts that were not able to be explained scientifically, but now we can explain these concepts scientifically. They were explained as metaphors, and some people distorted them and used them in really sick ways, but you can look it up. Look up Hinduism, look up Vedic tradition, and look up what those things are supposed to actually represent, instead of looking at them as these gods and goddesses. unless you want to look at our consciousness as a God, which we are a creator. So that's sort of where some people's arguments go in that direction. But we'll talk more about that in another time. Today's mantra is Shiva's mantra with the added seed sounds of Shrim and Kleem. Om Shrim Kleem Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Shrim Kleem Namah Shivaya. And that is to find our consciousness, our true selves, to start separating that from our internal critic, our ego, and starting to see what is real, what our real options are in the moment. It starts to help us see our real executive decider in the moment, so we can act. Sending out love. That was weird and creepy. That kiss was, maybe it was a little bit too sensual.